This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Sorry, I've got a little bit of Reuben Co's ball in my mouth.
I know. Can't you taste the coconut? I don't know what lotion he wears, but geez.
Yeah, thank you for bringing those in, Reuben.
Well, I'm a giver.
Hey, Reuben, being in the entertainment industry, how far are you looking ahead of what you're doing next year? So, because you're doing different things. When we're all doing tax time, we just get one, group statement type of thing. Are you...
Nah, tax time is an existential crisis for me. It's full because tax time is not just like, oh, how much money have I not made?
Yes.
And how much money that I haven't made am I now giving to the government?
Yes.
But it's also a case of, I actually haven't worked that much. Or, I've done this job and this job and this job and this job, but what actually am I?
Yeah.
It's an interesting time, I think. It changes for every performer and it changes from year to year how far ahead you look. Because you're only ever as good as your last gig.
Yeah, of course.
And suddenly the gig you're in now, which might be your best gig, like Jesus Christ Superstar, is suddenly your last gig.
Comes to an end,
What now?
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing for the next half of the year, which I'm very lucky to say. I can't say what it is, but
so there's a big project that we'll find out about soon. And you're doing shows for the Melbourne Comedy Festival as well.
Yeah, for Jesus Christ Superstar, I'm doing a whole bunch of other things on the sideline.
Yes.
JC Superstar was so lovely because they went, look, we know who we're hiring.
Yes.
In many different ways. We know who we're hiring and we want you to be able to do your own shows at the same time if that's what you want to do. So, I think every performer or every artist is always got their fingers in a whole bunch of pies and trying to make sure there's something in the can coming your way after. But it's not always the case.
Has it been a time, I mean, obviously now things have been going gangbusters for a while. We got to speak to you a number of times, but do you remember what it's like to really scramble to get your next
Funny
role?
you say this, because the nominations just came out for the Green Room Awards in Victoria, and we got a slew of them. A mate of mine called me to congratulate me and just said, hey, do you remember when you were living in a bus in London stealing silverware? It was this old bus in Stepney Way, which is like a crappy part of Whitechapel before Whitechapel had boomed. Into that kind of trendy neighbourhood. And it was a bus. It had a wooden floor. The seats had been ripped out. It had a bench and a mattress. And it was up on blocks. It didn't have wheels.
How cold was it in winter?
Mate, it was freezing, and it had no heating, it had no electricity. The only electricity was a power board and an extension cord through a window.
Yes, so the window had to be open. Into the pub?
That my mate was squatting in, and I was renting the bus to me for 20 quid a week. But at night, any rain or anything, I'd have to unplug my heater and wrap that electrical cord in a towel. Yeah. And the only lock on the door was a padlock. If I was in the bus, I had to padlock it inside because people would come and bang on it and stuff at night. It was on a thoroughfare. And if I was leaving, I had to padlock it outside and hope that when I came back...
Your power board was still there.
We were so cold at night, I had to just pull all my clothes on top of me as well. But also I was working as a butler in a members club in Pall Mall for the most rich, old, aristocratic, gin-blossomed, thick-necked people.
You would make a great butler.
I was brilliant.
You would have been brilliant.
But these people were sort of caricatures. Well, you've got to marry in the family. It keeps the money there. And they'd stubble up to me at 8 a.m. with their empty glass going, you, boy, red wine, here. And I was just eating pigeon and grouse off their plate and eating like a king, stealing silverware, taking it back to my bus and selling it on Gumtree and Brick Lane. And I was earning £6.50 an hour, which in London goes...
Yeah.
No, £6.50, sorry, £6.50 minimum wage before tax. And just trying to figure out what it was I was going to do.
So now you earn $12.50. It's amazing.
Yeah, and my agent takes a cut. And I moved to London on a one-way ticket because I wasn't getting any gigs here. And I just went there, landed, got into that, was at rock bottom in that place. And now I'm here chatting to you. It's a very big ride.
Yeah. I mean, this obviously is the pinnacle talking to us.
Every single one of you. Mainly because this one's not here.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
So, elections are heating up. We're reading a lot about politics. But how about this Liberal candidate, right? Marome? Beard or Marome? I'm so sorry.
Marome.
Mamaroni.
That's it.
Yeah.
So anyway, she was out in a car and she was doing stuff, and then she like gets out of a car and she's like doing whatever she's doing, and then as she's gotten out of the car, somebody has jumped in her car.
Oh,
Like seriously, that's brave. That's
Yes,
brave
brazen.
robbery when
Yep.
they're there, and then they take off in a car, right? And she's got all her possessions in there.
Yep.
And so she's just got to like walk back to town. And then she finds out that her car has been used in a ram raid at a bottle shop.
Yeah.
At a bottle
Yep.
shop. Yeah,
You don't have to ram raid a bottle shop. There's a drive-through.
Drive-through. Thirsty Camel's got one. We've got
Come
it
on.
on Friday. And this one was the Bottle Mart Express. So, I mean, I suppose if you want to get out quick, that's the one.
Express, yeah. Far out.
They definitely went in the get out of your car lane.
Nate,
No.
did she find her car just by seeing the news or something, or the cops said, "Hey,
Contacted
by the
her.
way, this has been used in a ram raid"?
Basically, yeah, the
Yep.
cops are like, this has been used in a ram raid, and you know what? At least we're talking about her. That gets her name out there. But it got me to thinking, like, when something is taken of yours and then it turns up, say, at a crime scene, or it turns up somewhere completely different, that must be a bit exciting because you know that thing's yours.
Yeah.
You're part of it.
Well,
I mean, you don't have a car.
Yeah, that's the downside.
But you're part of it. Like, imagine your wardrobe gets stolen and then 2 days later it's found in a murder scene.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
You'd be puzzled, would you not?
yeah, you'd be onto a defence lawyer straight away because they'd be coming for you.
Yeah.
What are your clothes doing here?
One of my friends, when we went to uni in Melbourne, and she had this old car that, like, the security on it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It was a student car, typical student car. She lived in Richmond. Around the corner was a pub, and the other side of her was the station. And she thinks the theory is that people would be coming home from the pub and have missed the last train. So people used to just nick her car.
Oh, to
her car
take.
was stolen 5 times.
Was it?
And the last 2 times, it was found not that far away, like about 2 k's away on the other side of Punt Road, facing in a dead-end street that faced Punt Road. So she just was on the tram one day and looked out and went, oh, that's my car.
So-
Nobody had reported it. It had been there, sitting there for 5 days.
So it's sort of like, in those restaurants where you're supposed to wear a dinner jacket and you don't
Yes.
have one, then they bring out the
Yes.
dinner jacket for everyone that's a little bit too big and they put on you.
That's
Her
right.
car was the dinner jacket.
Yeah, that's right. If you miss the last train, when you're coming home from the New
just grab
Boundary
that car.
Hotel in Richmond, you just take her car and get home.
But think about it as well. People could steal your ID, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly your ID rocks up in a house break-in and then you get called by the police
Yes.
and then they have to prove the fact that you weren't there. That seems like that would happen to you. It really does, Sean.
Yeah.
But you've only got real police reports where you've actually done stuff.
Yeah.
You hear these stories about people's animals being taken and being found like miles
Yeah,
away,
absolutely.
that kind of stuff.
Yep. Let's go to Donna in Beckenham. Hi, Donna. Tell us a story of what got stolen and let's find out where it ended up.
Well, I was this great 21-year-old with my brand new little Hyundai Fantastic, took it to work in Subiaco, and lo and behold, walked out that day, it was gone. So I reported it to the police, but it was about 10 days later I actually get a call from the police myself asking me to come in to be interviewed because my car has been involved in a break-in at the St John's ambulance.
Oh.
And I'm going, hang on a minute, my car's been reported as stolen.
Oh.
And I went, okay. But then 2 days later, high-speed chase down Stirling Highway and a big smash out the front of the UWA. And then I finally kind of got a bit of a smashed car back at the end.
Oh, my God, a
what
couple of
an
incidences.
adventure.
But also
so did they leave
brand
anything?
new.
I know, that sucks. Did they leave anything that they stole in your car? Like did you get some good bandages?
There were things
or
that I
something?
wouldn't have. I just got pre-warned not to go under my seat. So
Oh, okay.
don't look under your seat. Be really careful. So no, there was plenty of little souvenirs that were left in my car that I really didn't want.
Little sharp things. Is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
some little sharp bits and
Some little
pieces.
sharp bits. Yeah. Okay, that's full on. That's
And a
full
couple
on.
of slings.
Yeah, right, okay.
But at least they
Thanks,
got
Donna.
good use out of your car, though.
Susan Coogee, hello.
So it wasn't me, but back in the day,
Yeah.
I worked for a lady who was very wealthy and she had all of her clothes made. So they were quite exclusive,
Yeah, wow.
very shiny and big as they were in the 80s.
Dynasty.
Anyway, it was around the time that the America's Cup, we'd won it, and they were having the cup was on show and you could go and have your photo taken with it and all of that. And there was a photo that was on all news feeds, newspaper, everything, of her cleaner in one of her outfits.
Stop it.
and it was one of those outfits, that you kind of knew.
Yes.
It wasn't like something from Katie's or something.
No, it was one of a kind.
Like a red carpet dress that J-Lo would wear, and
Yeah.
that's it. And then that is... Oh, come on. That is so
And
funny.
I said to her, "What did you do?" She goes, "I just saw it back in my wardrobe a week later." I went,
How many times has she done this?
She must go over.
That's
She just
right.
dress up as she's
yeah.
polishing the floors.
I mean,
That
that's
is
brazen.
so
That's
funny.
brazen. But if you're going to do that, don't get photographed by the social pages photographers.
It
You
was
know
that
what I mean?
J-Lo film, remember? When she was like the housemaid.
Yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
walked in and she
Made
tried
in
to make
Manhattan.
coke, and then she had the coat on. Like, oh, you must be rich. And then she got that job.
Happy days. That was a documentary too.
Wasn't it?
Alex,
I love
hello.
it,
What got nicked and where did it end up?
So I got in an accident and the guy took a picture of my driver's license
Yep.
instead of just exchanging details. So it has had my signature and my name and my address, literally everything on it. He ended up getting a hire car in my details. That car ended up getting 2 speeding fines, points and money. So, and I didn't even know. And then I had police rock up my door saying, "Hey, you got a hire car, all this information, you got speeding time, like outstanding speeding fines." I was like, "What?" Like, no, that wasn't me. And they're like, "Oh, do you know this person?" I was like, no. I said, I had an accident and they've taken photo of my driver's license. Maybe that's connected because they made me write my name, do my signature to see if it was the same.
Oh, the cops made
And
you
my
do
phone
that?
number,
Yep.
and like when I write my phone number, I don't write. You know when you write a 7 and there's a line through it. Some people put a line through it.
Yep.
I don't, and he did. So that's how we kind of.
Oh, wow.
And then,
That's amazing, isn't it? And I mean, that's because your name's Alex, a guy can get away with that as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
Here at Nova, we like, if there's a subject that we don't know much about, we like to find an expert. And in this particular field, we have Caitlin Bassett is not the expert, but her dad is. Seabass, thank you for
morning, Seabass.
bringing your dad to work with you today.
Most people are shook when they say, "What are you doing on Saturday night?" And I say, "I'm having a MAFS date with my dad." They just don't understand. So, no, it's been a whirlwind. Few seasons we've been watching now, and it gives us something to bond over.
Yeah.
Mike, good morning
Bassett.
to you.
Good morning, guys. How
Now,
are you?
Mike, before you launch into your in-depth analysis of this season of MAFS, we've made you an opener. Have a listen. You're our official MAFS expert.
Well, we've spoken to you a few times, Mike, about MAFS. We all got excited the fact that you and Caitlin bond over this, but you're actually right into it.
Yes, I am. That's right. And I've got to take you to task over last time we spoke. when
Yes,
you said
Mike.
It was all scripted and everything.
Yes,
This year, you'd have to realise that the experts have got it right because there's quite a few love matches this year.
Are they? No, I mean, it's still early.
It
There's
is
still
early.
time for that.
We have lost a few. In the first couple of weeks,
Yeah.
we lost 4 lots, so I suppose that's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they stuffed up so badly that they had to bring back some people
That's correct.
and rematch them with other people. So you go, yeah.
Yeah, they did get a second chance. That's
Yeah.
right.
I think what's best is that the Perth couples have already dated each other. And
Yes.
so when they rocked up, they've seen each other and they go,
That's
"Oh,
right.
not you." Yeah, and it's typical because, I mean, as a tall girl going out in Perth, I've definitely kissed the same guys as my friends have. I know where they're at.
They're tight circles. Yeah, Mike, a few times when we've had the experts in here, I've got on the front foot a bit because I just think they've done a shithouse job in a nutshell. But
No,
you're
that's
telling
not
me
true.
this...
They've done what you're saying is they've done a bad job of matching people together, but they've done a great job of creating TV that people watch.
I know, but
Which
this
is-
is what gets
which
me.
is what
People
they're
believe
doing.
it. People believe it, and all the women get up and about. Oh, he's a horrible person. They're acting.
No,
or
but
they know
no,
each other. Or they're
often
from.
they are horrible people as well.
I put that aside. Who have you liked so far this season, Mike?
Well, a couple of ones have come to attention.
Yes.
Jackie and Ryan have been quite good.
Oh, hang on, wait. You think they're good people or...
for the
You mean crazy
what?
eyes and masculine?
for the controversy side of it.
Okay, yeah,
that's all.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So from a controversial side of things, what's been going on there? Because I've refused to watch it.
Well, she Yeah.
She can't get over the ranking system. So in week 1, or at their wedding, actually, it started there.
It started there.
She dropped him.
He dropped
her.
Yeah.
Sorry.
during the dance.
Yes.
He dropped her, and then she reckoned she was head injured after that, right?
And then in the ranking challenge, she got a bit shitty because he didn't put her as the hottest bride, which, fair enough. Like, I've tried to do this game with my partner as well. It just doesn't work. It's just a really uncomfortable situation to be in. But she's a little bit crazy, isn't she?
She is. There's a couple of crazy ones. And we've got the older couple. That they did an older couple last year, and this couple's virtually mirroring that. He's not really that interested, and she's interested. And the interesting part about when they first went to the wedding, they both got the same burgundy suits on as the old couple last year. So obviously the wardrobe budget is not that good.
It's like, we've got the old people's clothes. Here we go.
That's right, exactly.
You know, if you get the velvet burgundy blazer, that you're in the wrong.
That's right.
Mike,
That's my age group.
Yeah, that's great. It's the Ron Burgundy.
Exactly.
Well, some of the stuff that I read, a lot of the articles are coming out of everybody's showing each other. There's asses getting shown left, right, and centre. Now, there's been a hell of a lot of nudity and sex talk in this, as usual?
No, there hasn't been much nudity at all.
Bit of lingerie.
There's a lingerie fail, yeah.
Yes.
And there was a bit of a back massage, but we didn't get to see a lot with that. But
Mike was checking.
Very
He
disappointed.
replayed it a few times just to be sure.
Caitlin had to make me aware of the lingerie fail. I had to go back and rewind.
Said you're going to love this episode tonight. I may have seen some areola, which I'd never seen on Channel 9 at that time slot before.
Of course, Mike, the big thing is that they love a bit of they love conflict, and obviously
That's what the
they
whole
promote
show's
that.
about.
That's
Yeah.
right, with the dinner parties where they get everybody together and force them to drink and then just see what happens, light a match and throw it in and see what happens.
That's right.
So what have been the memorable dinner party moments this season? Because obviously in years gone by, there's been glasses of wine thrown in people's faces and all the rest of it.
Well, no, there hasn't been any wine throwing this year. It's been a bit quiet, but they've actually had to manufacture a bit of conflict, I think, because a lot of the couples were loved up, so there's no action happening. So you can actually tell that they've thrown a match in there. I think they've plied them with a bit too much drink in some places, just to get the conflict up and running, sort of thing.
Cheating scandals? Where are we at with the cheating scandals?
Not yet, but they're coming apparently.
Okay, that's
yes.
good.
Yeah, there's been a bit of nudging that we're like, somebody's upset because her partner went and had lunch with someone else or something.
Yeah, there was a few a meal thing, but there's no actual cheating yet.
No.
But, there's been a lot of leaks to the media. One girl's gone rogue and broken her contract conditions, I think, and done a few leaks. So.
I think that's what the experts do as well. They go, okay, we'll deliberately mismatch this couple because they won't get along, but we'll put one person from one couple and they might match another couple really well. And they're almost like trying to manufacture this cheating and wife swapping stuff. It's disgusting.
Oh,
it's so entertaining.
But
I
you
don't
love
know,
it.
Caitlin. I think you're being a bit harsh there. Your dad didn't bring you up that way.
So, Mike, just to be clear, you believe that the experts are matching these people with good intentions and genuinely want them to form loving, lasting couples?
I think they are to a certain extent, but there is a bit of matching, as Caitlin said. Mate, come on, Nat. No. You're not a true believer. You haven't been watching. You're
right.
qualified.
I'm not a true believer.
Yeah. That's true. You've got to really throw yourself in there.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah,
Where do you rate this series, Mike? Because it's had
in the canon.
Yeah.
It's probably down a couple, actually, because they haven't had the big... We had, at the beginning, a couple of girls come out, and they're going to be big personalities, but they've just mellowed right out. It's been a bit...
Yeah, and we did peak early with that horrible PE teacher. Who
that's right.
He just was physically repulsed by the bride that he was matched with, even though he publicly said to the producers, I'm all about personality. It doesn't matter what they look like. Turns out it did matter, right?
You know a lot about this, Matt. For someone that has...
You know what I do? I read the James Weir recaps on news.com.
I think you're a closet watcher. You're just not letting on.
So he was a dreadful piece of work.
Yeah, then Elliot come out firing straight up. He was the one that left after 2 days because his girl was too old for him. She's only about 5 years older and didn't meet his strict criteria.
The very elderly woman, and she's about 35.
And now he's with actress model, and he's still not happy with her. So that's kind of saying
Yeah,
something,
but she's
isn't it?
calling him out last night, didn't she? She really put him to place.
Well, he's not going to like that, is he?
So, Mike, give us a rundown of your viewing habits on this. So, how do you set up for the night if you're watching it with Kate?
Are you watching it every night, every night it's on?
I watch it every night, yeah. Sometimes I record it and watch it half an hour late so I can zhung all the ads out of it. That's my favourite.
What's Mrs. Bassett doing?
Oh, she doesn't watch it. No.
She's a non-believer.
She's a non-believer for sure. So
Is it driving a wedge in the marriage, or is everything okay?
Yeah, there's definitely.
Are we going to see you on there next year in a burgundy jacket?
Well, what's the one coming up soon that you told us about the
Oh, Golden Bachelor.
Golden Bachelor?
You mean you told me about? As soon as MAFS finishes, Dad goes on to Love Triangle or Island, whatever, Love Island.
No,
whatever,
that's
crappy
too
ones.
crappy. No.
Oh, you draw the
There's no
line at
real
Love
stories
Island.
there.
Not true love. Not about true love. is
First Dates is another one of my favourite.
First dates.
Oh, yeah, that is quite
that's funny.
entertaining.
Yeah, the English
Because
version.
it's low stakes, you know.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
Mike, thank you
No
for your
worries.
in-depth report and for being so diligent and making notes and everything.
I've been doing this ever since it started.
Hey, Mike, before we go, who is your favourite couple? If you do have one.
So you want to genuinely get together, be the who are they?
Who's
Cam
gonna
and
survive?
Jules.
You mean Duncan
the
and
big tall bloke,
the big tall
Dave.
Dave?
Oh,
Dave and Jamie.
you want
Dave
Dave
and
and
Jamie,
Jamie?
okay.
I know.
Yeah.
He's got lots of tattoos.
Jamie the blonde. Oh, that doesn't know.
He's got the ones with the blue tattoos up his neck.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jamie's,
okay.
Jamie's the blonde girl.
Yes.
They seem to genuinely like one another,
Yeah.
don't they?
She's got.
She's a bit
She's
enhanced.
endowed,
I
yes,
think,
yes.
yes.
Do you like her, do you, Mike? For a
As
personality.
far as blondes.
Yeah, no, we
Oh,
get
yeah, I
it.
can see it.
Yeah, Sean's got his little book there.
I can see her personality, yeah. Good one.
Shines through, doesn't it, Sean?
Nathan, Nat, and Sean in podcast form.
Well, we did promise you the great man, Matthew Pavlich. There has been rumours, as Natalie said. I think there's a whole lot of truth behind the fact that he is coming out of retirement. Let's ask the big fella now. Morning, Pav.
Morning, Shorty. Can you believe it?
Have.
Okay, about time.
Well, Sean's always firmly believed that he should be behind glass down at the Fremantle Football Club and that he break in case of emergency.
Yeah,
and they
for
bring
sure.
him back. But, I mean, you even more so.
Oh, for sure.
They're talking about contending. They're talking about flags. So, I just thought I'd take the long road and journey back to playing. But unfortunately, it won't be for the mighty Dockers. I actually still don't know. I'm going back in the draft, which is the Carlton draft.
Yes, yes.
Is your
and
mum
it means
having
that
any say in where you go?
That's right.
Well, if she could, she would, dear mum. But no, it'll be somewhere in WA. So the Carlton draft has been exclusively in the East Coast, or particularly Victoria, the last couple of years. It's the first time that a local footy club gets a chance to draft me and a couple other former AFL players, both in New South Wales and here in WA. So great opportunity for the local club to enter the competition. They draft a former player, and then the player, me, 9 years after retirement, comes out and plays a game, and hopefully they get a whole heap of people down there, raise some funds for the club and have a great day.
This is going to be a team that's probably had little success over a fair period of time.
Classically, that's who you want to see, right? Is somebody that one of the easy beats in the competition. Finally, they draft, a centre-half forward that can actually kick a goal.
I don't know why they're putting their hopes in someone who's 43 and can hardly run anymore.
Some of these country clubs, though, you would not be the oldest person on the field. You know what I mean?
No, look, and that's right. Look, this is one about potentially having a bit of success and getting a win for a club that might have been struggling for a little while. But more importantly, it's about actually bringing some of these communities together and raising some funds. I know. Your local footy club, whether it's your kids or the local ammo club, you're always looking to hopefully raise some funds for
get some money
footy
across the
trip
bar.
for the bar, or to buy the jackets for the weekend, to buy the witches hats, whatever it is. So it's a good opportunity, and there's some cracking players coming out this year. I know 3 of us are being revealed effectively today. Tom Hawkins,
yes.
Former Geelong great full forward. He's getting out there. Brett
He's
Delidio,
newly
the
retired too, so he's still in this one, really.
That whoever lands him has got a good one. I'm not so sure about me, as I said earlier, but Brett Delidio is the other one, and there's 2 others. I can't say exactly who, but I think there might be another West Australian-based player as well, and potentially from the other team that I used to not so much like, the one that you like, Nat.
So what you're saying is it's not Sean McManus?
No.
That's weird.
No.
Well, no, it won't be Sean. I mean, He's still recovering from his epic effort last week of the Rochester.
Absolutely. Now, Pav, I'm really excited about this. Is fantastic stuff. We've seen in the past, though. So Nathan Buckley, he rolled out. I think he was number 1 draft pick a couple of years ago. He rolled out, blew a calf almost straight away. I'm scared for Brett DeLilio because that kind of finished his career was the calf situation. So take that out of it. What are you doing at the moment to prepare for this epic comeback?
Yeah, so I'm still waiting on an exact. You know how these things work. You reverse engineer it, right? So I'm waiting for the date of the game, which they're saying somewhere between May and August. So I'm going to start pre-season. I'm going to, pre-season's going to sort of rewind back to that. But the fact of the matter is, Shawnee, I'm doing nothing at the moment. I have to get moving. I need to do a little mini pre-season. So the runs, the repeat efforts, the gym. I'm going to have to get moving. So,
Pav, you won't need to. You will stand at centre half forward. They will kick it to you. You'll just mark it over the top of some guy. You're not going to run around.
Just mention Nathan Buckley, mate. You don't want to just go out there and just do one half a lead like the big Mav, and all of a sudden
he wouldn't even have to lead. He'd just stand there, put his hands up. Come on.
I'm not so sure about that now. I think footy's actually a pretty hard game.
I've seen country footy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Bucks, you're right. I spoke to him about this only 2 weeks ago, Shawnee, at the Fox Footy season launch, and he said he felt terrible because he said he knew he was a bit dodgy leading in, so he went down on the Thursday night to training just to get around the boys and get around the team to make sure that they got a little bit of a bit of Bucks and a bit of his time because you're right. 5 minutes in, the first kind of lead he went for, he pinged his I think it was his calf or his hammy, and he was done for the game. Lee Montagna a couple of years ago did his groin. I think Lloydie, shanked a couple, and then I think he injured himself as well. So I'm going to. The good news is the bar's low.
That's true.
So I can hopefully I can get a kick.
Well, mate, you're going to have to go down to the oval down the road from your house and do a few laps, but also the hill run that we used to do at the back of Swanbourne, up that track and around.
No, look, I'm aware of this. I need to get moving. I might have to hire I've got a physio in my wife, Lauren. So
yes, exactly.
Starting point. But you're right. I need a PT or I need to get moving. Look, I am still keeping fit. I'm still going for a couple of jogs a week. And
you're not coming from nowhere. Yeah.
I'm not coming from nowhere, but to actually, play a full game of footy. And I hear what you're saying now that you stand there and blah blah. But no, I think there's a little bit more to it. So I'm gonna have to get moving into a pre-season. But I want to do it while this weather's so nice.
Yeah.
Before it gets cold and that. So,
yes. Well, it's not too hot and not too cold. Yeah, exactly.
I haven't played for a long time, but the last charity event I played in, because it's all good on paper, right? And in my mind, I'm fit as fiddle. I'm going to run out this thing. I didn't realise how long a game goes for when you're not, you haven't played for ages. Like when's this thing ever going to end?
But no, you're spot on. And so last year I played there was a charity, mental health charity match at Leaderville Oval about this time last year. And I played on a guy called Alex Rance, who had only just retired and who took it so seriously. It was anyway, and you forget how much you have to run off ball, which means, so if the ball's on, particularly if you're playing forward or back, if the ball's on one side of the oval and you've, made a contest on the other side, how much you have to actually run, 150, 160 metres or so to just be in a position to potentially contest the next ball. It's these things you forget and you get a great appreciation for once it's all over.
Pav, I do have fond memories of going to Adelaide to watch my colleague Sean McManus play in the EJ Whitten Legends match. And, he got heaps of touches. In fact, on the commentary, they accused him of trying too hard. But then he needed surgery on his knee immediately after that. Do you have a surgeon on speed dial, or have you booked your flights to Qatar to go to Aspetar already?
Yeah. Well, look, maybe that's the trick beforehand. Get to Aspetar like everyone else, and get it done that way. Yeah, no, I touch wood. My major kind of issues, my hips and my back. Yeah, and I mean that seriously because it's a horrible pain. But no, I've started my campaigning to a couple of surgeons. Red wine is normally the way I do it. But I'll have to get that
Yeah,
line
you've
up.
probably
So what
got
happened
a
with you,
surge.
Shawnee? So what did you have, like a clean out or?
Oh, I tore my cartilage when we were playing the game. All of a sudden, I was like, whoa, well, this is a bit next level. And I was thinking, in my mind, I was just having fun because most people were unfit. So
yes, that's right.
You've got one over around, and my idea. I remember Andrew Embley was saying, "Just give me a kick when you can," because I was able to run around more than most people, and Hayes was the same. But I hurt myself straight in for surgery days afterwards.
I'm just hoping what happens because you're back to a local footy club. From memories, a local footy club, there's very little kind of assistance on the medical side, very little assistance on the strapping or preparation side. So I hope whoever we're playing, one, doesn't take it too seriously, like Shawnee, like you did, and two, they've got a nice cold beer for us afterwards because it's going to be a solid one. I'm looking forward to it.
A hard-earned thirst, you might say.
No doubt about it. Pav, just before we let you go, I just want a bit of a comment on Fremantle's extension with Justin Longmuir. Extension of sorts?
Yeah, well, an ongoing employment agreement, which we're all looking for at some level, aren't we? So good on him for that. I think what it does is help Justin just get on with coaching, and but he'll have to perform. So there's obviously some clauses in the contract that are good for him in terms of performance-based. If they make finals, if they go on win a flag or whatever. There's some. I assume there'll be some great incentives in there for him on that basis. But equally, I'm sure there's some clauses and some ability if things go south and the team doesn't play that well as early as this year, that they can terminate. So on one hand, it's a good thing. On the other hand, it's probably raised and asked a lot of questions of the contract and what it means, or of the employment agreement and what it means going into the future. But the long and the short of it means that they get along well, as in the coach and the club are on the same page about where they're going. But he has to perform, and the club has to perform. Otherwise, it'll be game over for him.
Yep, absolutely. Pav, good luck for this. We'll follow your journey with Carlton
we're on
Draft.
board.
Can't wait to see what happens, who you play for. And I dare say we'll be getting behind you in this one for sure.
Yeah, let's come on. Let's
even old Barrack for you, Pav.
Make a big crowd.
Yeah.
Well, I know you love us, Nat.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Number one thing that took centre stage yesterday was comments made by a radio presenter in relation to the Matildas and the She Believes Cup.
Mm-hmm.
That radio presenter was Marty Sheargold.
Yes.
And he had this to say.
You know what they remind me of? Year 10 girls. Now, I'm sorry to undermine the whole sport, but that's what I think of it, so you can stick it up the Asian Cup. I'd rather hammer a nail through the head of my watch that. Got any men's sport?
So Marty no longer has a job, Natalie.
No longer employed. And there's been a lot of people jumping into his defence saying, a lot of men jumping into his defence saying, what, so you can't even criticise them because they're not playing well at the moment? You absolutely can criticise a team for not playing well at the moment. That's not what he was doing. He was belittling an entire sport played by women because it's played by women.
Yeah, absolutely. It come across horrendously. He has since put it down to comedy purposes,
A joke that missed the mark. A joke that missed the mark. No, he knows what he was doing. And the other thing is, it's not a one-off with Marty. This is he's a repeat offender of this kind of stuff. He's
he is.
Born from another era.
Yeah.
And so you just go, I think society has progressed a little bit.
A lot of people were putting up stuff yesterday and really wanted to speak out about issues like this, in particular when it comes to women's sport. One of those was Greg Hire, and he joins us now. G'day, Greg.
Good morning, crew. How are we?
Greg, when I saw your post yesterday, I thought, good on you for standing up for women's sport, firstly, and, decrying the sort of stuff that Marty had said. Talk everybody else who didn't see your post through what you said.
I mean, at first I was quite shocked and appalled at those comments that we just heard, and instantly I thought, especially the last comment about the nail in the regions, I thought, just do it then, mate. Like, you're absolutely good.
So we can arrange that. I'll buy the hammer.
Correct.
That takes some commitment, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what was more impact, I was sitting in the office alongside my colleague Michelle, and we speak about this. She's absolutely incredible. And I couldn't help but she just sort of like there was silence, and I just felt like there was just this disappointment from her in terms of there's so much progression in the world, as there should be. I mean, I think Hannah Ferguson from Cheek Media speaks about it really well. Like, the Matildas captivated not only Australia, I think the world. The Female World Cup, the money that brought in, the participation rates, all that sort of stuff. And unfortunately, men do a horrible job. If you don't have an appeal for that sport or whatever, irrespective, we don't punch sideways, we punch down. Kate McCarthy spoke about it really well, and I think it's just in that moment, what I was most disappointed was there was a learning opportunity. His co-host may have actually gone, mate, what are you talking about?
Sure.
And
pull your head in. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that would have been the most powerful thing in the world. Yet they potentially would have lost a mateship or a friendship. But if your mateship is destined on derogatory comments, then I question whether that's a true friendship. And I think a lot of people are like, it's comedy. I go, mate, it's on public radio, and irrespective, they're not paying for a ticket to hear that. It's a sports report. Don't get me wrong, elite sports, and we speak about this, Sean, like, elite sports, absolutely, you can be critiqued on selection, whatever it may be, but that wasn't that. That had nothing to do with a 4-4-2 diamond formation. That was, I'm going to pull the PI55 of a gender to get a cheap laugh. And I think that's been happening for far too long.
Greg, I do reckon at times, absolutely more than at times, that when you're playing a sport like you or I, there is certainly an amount of people who would bag the shit out of me of my team back in the day.
But about your performance, not about the sport as a whole, saying that, that your sport is unwatchable, which is what Marty was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So, getting back to the difference between the thing, again, was the fact that we're talking about a sport versus an individual team, which we've all copped, and individual players, which we've all copped.
Exactly right, Sean. I think there is nothing better than seeing any gender play sport. It is like the benefits of that, from a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, a sense of community. Why would you at any time try and create a barrier or a challenge for that?
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
Devastating news. As you know, Home and Away, it's on every night on Channel 7 at 7 p.m. But we got word that Lynn McGranger is leaving.
Oh, my God. It's a whisper.
And we thought, how can she do this to us? How can she retire and just move away from the Bay? And we're all devastated. Lynn, what's going on?
Darling, let me stop you right there. There is no retirement happening at all.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not retiring.
Yeah.
I'm just finishing on Home and Away because I want to do more theatre.
Is that right?
Oh,
Lynn. You're going to be treading the boards as a thespian.
Yes, I am not. I'm straight. No.
I was going to say, it's one of those middle-aged things, isn't it?
Yeah. No, darling, not that there's anything wrong with that. No, look, I realised last year when I was touring the Grandparents Club that the time had come for me to kind of take a step back from 32 plus years of television and just do kind of go full circle and do what I started out doing, which was theatre, and which I absolutely love. So I'm definitely not retiring. You know, I will audition for things and try different things, but I'll also have a rest, you know, and go, no, I think I'll go down to Tassie for a week.
Yeah, you can be discerning about what projects you
Absolutely, and I haven't got to run it past the production office and try and work it in with Home and Away, which is, as you know, it's a bloody extraordinary machine.
Yes, it is.
For 46 weeks of the year, and how they run it, I do not know, because there's, you know, somebody gets sick and the whole thing goes to hell in a handbasket because they have to change everything. It's such a full-on gig for which I am so grateful. I've just loved nearly every minute of it. And I'm honestly, I'm so blessed and so grateful, and it's just wonderful.
Now, Lynn, we know that obviously you're not going to tell us what the storyline is, but my question is it the sort of storyline that it has a very finite ending, or is it the sort of storyline that potentially down the track you might just swan back in because Irene's lap of Australia in a caravan is finished, or whatever it might be? Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm asking? Is it open that you could come back again?
I do know what you're asking, but I'm not going to answer it because it's not black and white. So I don't want to lead you up the garden path, and I don't want to give away too many hints. All I can say is that the storyline is incredibly pertinent and very kind of very important, particularly in this day and age. And I like to think that the audience will be taken on a real journey with Irene and, of course, the rest of the cast. Sorry, honey, I can't tell you.
But the one thing...
If I were over there now, I could have a little whisper in your ear.
Sure, and a couple of winks and we'd know. Yep, no worries.
But the one thing with Home and Away is a lot of people have gone by the wayside at some stage and miraculously, like the good Lord, just appear again out of nowhere and the show goes on.
We've had people morph through the white goods.
That's right.
We have. I'm not making it up.
I remember.
Somebody has, an issue.
It was Ailsa, wasn't it? Wasn't Ailsa in the fridge? Was that what it was?
No, it was Bobby.
Oh, Bobby, the ghost of Bobby, yes.
Through the fridge or the toaster or something, some white goods.
Yes.
To Ailsa.
Yeah,
and I think it was at that point Ailsa went, I better pop along to the doctors. I don't think I'm quite right today.
So there's always, whatever the storyline, there's always a chance you could reappear in some fashion.
Oh, look, darling, it's a soap. So, yes. And they still, the writers have still, they constantly ignore my suggestion. I always wanted Irene to be abducted by aliens and then sort of spat out and sent back to Summer Bay with a story that no one would swallow. But they would never come at that. But, bless them, they've come at this storyline, and
amazing.
I'm very, very pleased
and I love
proud.
that you've had that input into that. That's incredible, because you know that character more than anyone. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, look, if I had my way, really, I just would have got hit by a bus outside the diner. Bang, she's gone. See ya. But no,
straight to an ad.
Summer Bay, and that ain't going to happen.
No. We got word that Lynn McGranger is leaving.
Oh, my God. It's a whisper.
And we thought, how can she do this to us? How can she retire and just move away from the Bay?
Lynn, almost 33 years. Can I ask you, you were just saying before, so Home and Away shoots for 46 weeks a year, like it's just unbelievable, unstoppable. Do you get holidays? And also, during that period, do you strike up long service leave as it accrues, like normal jobs?
Well, we do get long service leave. It's very vague and muddy, and I'm not sure about it. Last year when I toured the play, I took a little bit of long service, not a lot, off, but I'm not sure how it works in terms of what you get paid. I know, like with most jobs, it's hard to describe because we take off a bit of time here and a bit of time there. So my long service leave that I would have accrued since last year would be less because I took time off to do the play. I'm not sure, but in answer to your first question, yes, we do get holidays. So we normally get Easter off. That's usually about a 10-day period. This year it happened, I won't be there. And then we get 2 weeks off in July, August, and then we get 3 weeks at Christmas. So we get, give or take 6 weeks off during the year, but we have to make 46. It's chiselled somewhere in a Rosetta Stone. I don't know. But apparently the world will come to an end if we don't make 46 weeks of Home and Away a year.
That's incredible.
So it's very brutal. It's brutal. And, of course, if you want to take, like I took time off for Grandparents Club last year, as long as you give them notice, the office plenty of notice, and they can weave it into, and, if you've been watching the show, Irene because she hit the grog again and was found in a pile at the
went to
bottom of the
rehab,
stairs.
yeah.
Went to a facility, and I just she must be rolling in dough. That's all I can say. To go away to a facility for 5.5 months. I mean, what is going on?
There's something.
But I'm back on air.
Yes.
I'm back on air tonight.
Yeah.
God bless.
That Dinah's making some backroom gambling money, I think, in order to be able to afford that.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of sly grog. I have no idea what she's selling.
Lynn, look, you are, we bandy the term around from time to time, but it genuinely applies to you, a national treasure. We look forward to seeing you on stage. Perhaps you can bring a show to Perth. We would love to have you back in here again.
I would love to. I would love to. The logistics are a bit hard getting, carting a play over. But and we're not coming over this time. We are doing all the eastern seaboard, the north, the south. But I know the producers are keen as mustard to come over to WA. So watch this space. I would love to come over again. I missed telethon this year because I was touring.
Because you were in rehab, we know.
Yes, that's the truth. I was, yeah. But thank you, guys. Always a great pleasure, and look forward to chatting to you again down the track.
Yes,
on you,
absolutely.
Lynn. It's our
Lots
pleasure.
of love, Lynn. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.